Yeah, that like I told you guys, that channel, then the animated one, I started multiple of these animated channels. When the one got frozen, I then went to another one, and this time around I didn't even get one subscriber or one view. And I was like, okay, these people are targeting me by IP address or something. They are targeting me by facial recognition, voice recognition. I don't know, but something is just making them find my channels in particular. I'm pretty sure it is a technical thing that they're doing in the back end, like a mechanical actual manipulation and actual sabotage, and I can't escape from underneath it. So I imagine that the only way that I could ever be able to come up out of this is if I invested in, like I said, a completely different SIM card and a completely different IP address coming from a different computer and a different whatnot to essentially hide myself so they don't have my IP. And I recently just literally got a job. I got a job, and I told myself that through that job, I'm going to then be able to purchase a computer, right? And I am going to have a new IP address, and then I will hide behind, and not animation, sorry, but facelessness. But then until such time that I can afford to buy that computer and all these things to set myself up, I'm gonna just have to sit back and not say anything. And the Lord, while I was washing dishes in the kitchen, no, brushing my teeth in the bathroom, bubbled it up in my spirit. Uti, you have testified only half of your testimony. You have shown your sufferings in me and long suffered all the way to the end. Now you gotta show your deliverance. You are not gonna hide your face. The righteous are bold as a lion. It's the wicked that run, even though no one pursues. They are the ones that run. And the intention was never for you to hide your face, Karabo. The intention was for them to persecute you to the nth degree, to a point where you would literally feel like death is what's coming. And at the place when no one is listening to you, no one is watching you because everyone thinks I've forsaken you. At that place, that's when you're going to suddenly rock up and be like, I'm free. Like all of a sudden. Though the righteous man may fall 7 times, he gets up each time. But the wicked are suddenly overcome by calamity. It is written in the first Psalm that blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He's like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. And in all that he does, he prospers. Essentially, prosperity is not the equivalent of material wealth or being successful or whatever. It is you being pious. On that day, you are planted by streams of water, and you are also therefore blessed. You therefore cannot curse those whom God has blessed. According to Psalm 1 and across the scriptures, according to the Beatitudes, you are blessed when you are persecuted, not cursed. Here it is that I'm walking in the blessedness, but I'm about to die a cursed death. It's written in God's word, cursed is the man who hangs on a tree. Cursed is the man who gets hung on a tree. Absalom, his hair was caught and he hung on a tree. Judas, he hung himself, suicide death. He was cursed. Christ was killed like a cursed man, even though he resurrected just as blessed as he was. He was hung on a tree. That was the ultimate sacrifice. Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. Jesus was he who knew no sin, but he became sin for us that we might become the righteousness of God in Christ. So Christ became the curse for us that we might not endure the curse. So if Christ hung on the cross, I am not to hang on it unless I'm dying a martyr's death. For me to go and hang myself, for me to go and commit suicide, that is accursedness. That basically goes completely contrary to Psalm 1, the first Psalm, right? I am supposed to be like Mount Zion, 125, Psalm 125, that does not perish but endures forever. It is written in Psalm 125 that the scepter of the wicked will not remain on the land allotted to the righteous, lest the righteous should turn aside their hands to do evil. And I told you guys that God kept on reverberating that in my ear some time ago, that the scepter of the wicked is on you, but it's not going to remain on your land indefinitely. And when he told me that, I was all excited and chuffed, but then things got worse from there. And I was like, God, you are telling me things, hearty big things, but you are not bringing through what it is that you are saying. That's the thing about God, right? Delayed gratification is not God's absence. It is exactly that. Delayed gratification is there for the purpose of inspiring long suffering in a sister or a brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I was walking in delayed gratification. I stopped believing my dreams. I stopped believing my prophecies. I stopped believing what God showed me about me. I stopped believing it because I was like, obviously I'm dying a Samson death. And I started to get all ideaty and excited about what heaven is going to be like, because I thoroughly imagined that I was about to go there right now. At my own hands. Imagine that, right? Anywho, anyhow, that's what's going on at the top of my brain. And with all of the stuff going on, and then I lose subscribers, and it just disillusions me even more. And then I'm not going to give you the details of this because really you don't need to know. Bottom line is, remember I told you guys that my family have been absent of support. They've been frankly kind of abominable in the way that they've been with me all these years. Well, a couple of years ago, before I lost everything, I got a dream And when I woke up from it, I was like, okay. And I brushed it off. Where the Lord said to me audibly, I remember the words, the Jebusites, the Amalekites, the Cushites, the Gershusites, basically all the ites that were enemies of God. You will remember those in the Bible, right? He was like, the Jebusites, the Cushites, the Amalekites, the whatnot-ites are coming against your family. That's all that I had in that dream. It was in a dream form because I was asleep, but then I remembered the words very audibly when I woke up. The Jebusites, the Amalekites, the Cushites, they're coming against your family. That was way before I lost my job. I was still newly born again, and I brushed it off, and lo and behold, after 3 years of being trained up in the Lord, I then get entered into the worst persecution of my life by the world around, and my family sat back and did nothing. My family sat back and did nothing. If anything, in certain parts, they were even mutineers against my life. They actively participated in the mutiny against me. They were exactly like Joseph's brothers. And the Amalekites, the Cushites, the Jebusites, it appears they came against my family. What was the Lord showing me? That there was He was showing me that there is going to be a curse on your family that is going to make them disregard your plight, your cause, and the fact that this is incredibly and exquisitely inappropriate to walk like as Karabo's family member. You should not be treating her like this. You should not be abandoning the woman like this. And yet they will. They are going to abandon you. They're going to let years progress and watch you suffer. And as a result of their la-di-da, complacent, chill, making like a stiff log, doing nothing, the world around is going to try and juice this, okay? 2 Timothy 3, Janus and Jambres is going to try and stealthily worm his way into your life like a weak-willed woman, trying to burden you with passions. Women are going to try and make you settle. People are going to make you try. They're going to want to try to make you abandon the promise that I gave you. And they will be using nothing but the fact that you don't have anybody. They will be using nothing but the fact that your family don't have your back. I'm on 5% battery now. They will be using nothing but the fact, I'm even thinking about going in and finishing this message from inside, but I so hate the quality of the inside. Like I'm on 5%. This is just gonna like die on me, right? 1 second. Okay, look, I keep moving and moving, and I'm not really comfortable talking here because like it's eavesdropping is the problem. Goodness gracious, I wish I had a USB charger in my phone. I really do. Because then I would not be struggling with such issues as this. And I don't want to record inside because I just, the logistics of editing from that side, all the masking, it's not worth my time. Goodness gracious, this dog. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on. Yes, I last ended off with Jebusites. Yes, people, basically the Jebusites, the Amalekites, etc. coming at my family. The Lord had already shown me that situation already long ago, right? This light, I'm going to keep it on because, but this dog, the Lord had already shown me that I would essentially endure negligence on the part of family, or something would happen that would make my family out of character, just act strangely. Okay, now I already made mention of Matthew 10, right? Matthew 10, that from now on a man's enemies will be members of their own households, and that there'll be 2 against 3. So what I'm trying to put out there is that the Jebusites, the Amalekites, the Cushites, the etc. that came against my family, they did come against my family, but it must also be comprehended that you can't win them all. Sometimes, you will only reach for sobriety certain people, while others will just completely continue to ignore a particular circumstance. Some of my family members have come around. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It has been too painful for them to watch. It has largely been the elderly that has come around, but there also has been like the youth, like one youth in particular in my family came around, and the rest have been the abo mama, abo uncle and whatnot. They came around. Not only that, but my siblings also came around among the youth, right? What needs to be, because that's just the order of things. Like, kids, when kids watch their parents act a fool, but they don't feel an incentive to do differently. So it had to happen such that it would be top down, the coming around of my family members. Basically, their parents feeling so much like trash and having not been responsible for a child, that the kids would now start to act a little bit better. All right, I'm not going to get into the details exactly as to what's going on there, because like I said, y'all don't need to know. But how it is that I would ultimately come out of this horrific situation. There was no way, according to God, I'm on 15% again. There was no way, according to God, that I was ever going to come out of this through anyone from the outside. It was never intended for me to escape, to get rescued, to get adopted by new people. I told you guys, if at all you've listened to me for any amount of time, that my family used to be like Medea's family back in the day. And when I came to Christ, I prayed for their redemption. All right. And by Medea's family, I mean, we were many. There were a lot of us. We were in camaraderie. We loved each other. We were good. Do you understand? And then life progressed and divisions happened. People turned awry. They did strange things. And now Sekgole all separate. That separation is now separated across the board. And that separation has caused them to walk in so much competition with each other that they would literally abandon a child among them to pass away. Like, you know, when your siblings are competing with you so much that ba compete even got success yabana type establishment thing, stuff like that has been happening, and it has caused a severity of a travesty. I've even said multiple times that if at all it was possible, my grandmother would be tossing and turning in her grave right now at the abominable activity that is going on in the family. But I did let you guys know that I have been taking Matthew 10 to God on some. You said that there's going to be 2 against 3. So why am I alone? I cannot be alone in this. Like, there's no way that I can be alone. If at all there's going to be division down the middle in the family, it means that half are with you and half aren't, or a quarter are with you and 3/4 aren't. There must be some who are with you. That's the only way that I'm going to be okay. So if at all you intend to restore family because I've prayed for them, you will restore me through those among them that are with you, because they are going to be the only ones that are going to be with me. The only way that I'm ever going to get out of this is if that division right down the middle or right down the quarter way mark in the family is Christians versus none. So where are the Christians? And lo and behold, one popped up from out of the woodworks. I've been thinking that I'm alone in the family as a believer, that one community else is lost and degenerate. And every last one of their acts is the work of, what do you call this? Like lukewarmness, buffet, sardian. You know, you're not really truly consecrated. Because if you were truly of God, if you were truly led by Jesus, the Lord would have told you, by this men will know that you're my disciples, love one another. You will not forsake one of your own. When she is hungry, you will give her food. When she is naked, you will give her clothes. When she is in prison and sick, you will visit her, etc., etc. You will basically be a Christian to my Christian. So the only way that I would ever be able to confirm if any family member of mine at all was a born-again Christian would be if they help me, would be if they actually go out of their way to help me. And it's happened. It happened. I got helped by a Christian family member. Story long, short. I'm not going to get into the details of that. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that there was no way under heaven that I was ever going to get out from this hole other than through a family member. It had to be family, because men have tried to exploit me, women have tried to exploit me, non-family members, outsiders have only ever tried to exploit me, and the exploitation got to a point where my whole YouTube was shut, so I would either settle with darkness or die. It is literally, how can I explain this? You know the wisdom of Solomon in the scriptures. The wisdom of Solomon in the scriptures with those 2 women and the baby wanting to cut it in half. The woman who mourned over the baby, refusing the baby should die, was given the baby because that was obviously the baby's mother. But the woman that wanted the baby to be cut in half and the one half be given to her and the other half be given to her, the woman who mourned over the baby and said, fine, you can have the baby. You can take the baby insofar as the baby lives. That was proven to be the mom. And so therefore, showing Uguti blood is thicker than water, in the way that I've been saying all this time, that people have been prepared that my body be cut into multiple pieces. Men who claim to love me have been prepared that I should die rather than end up with some other man. Women have been prepared that I should die rather than get my breakthrough, my future, this, that, and that, and the other. And it's only been the ones that, upon fighting for me, in their possessiveness, because my family has also been possessive over me, not wanting me to leave. I've been a flight risk to them, not wanting me to leave because of how they've hurt me. It has been those that have been possessive over me, however unprepared that I should die, that evidenced themselves as the true title deed owners of a person. The baby belonged to the mom that said, fine, you can have her. And I belong to the people who said, fine, even if there is a risk that you are going to leave after you gain your strength again, after you get your feet again, after you are strong, you are going to leave because we abandoned you. We forsook you. We, We neglected you. We betrayed you. We did not do right by you. We let you lose 10 years of your life. We watched your womb become geriatric. We watched you turn 40 with nothing at all. We watched. We broke you. We did. But we're gonna let you get your life back, risking that you will, once you are strong again, really strong financially, walk out and never turn back. That you're gonna go and marry a man and never invite us to your wedding. That you're gonna go and have children and never let us see them. That you're gonna go and basically it was the ones that were the rightful mom of the infant. They were prepared to lose the infant just so the infant can live. My family got to a point where they saw that I was dying. I don't even know how that happened. I do not know what came to them, whether it was a dream or a vision or what, but something registered in them that Karabo a tlhokafala. It registered. My family woke up, you guys. That's what I'm trying to get at. It registered. And one of my family members, God bless her soul, a Christian, a wonderful woman, has given me a job. I am starting, I don't know when. I'm still yet to go for the interview, but it's a done deal. I'm gonna start working probably next week, Monday will be my first day on the job. It's presently Monday right now. It's Monday today. I'm probably gonna start that job on Monday. I've got a job. It is not at the height where it is that I used to be, but it is going to be certainly enough. If at all I want to move out of my mother's home, I can. It's enough money for me to be able to get my own apartment if I want it. It's enough money for me to contribute to groceries at home. It is enough money for me to change up my tires because they are flat. Not flat. DJ Khile. The sun is setting right now, guys, so I need to finish this message. My tires are gone, so I need to replace my tires. I can service my car. It is enough for me to go to the orthodontist and fix the fact that one of my teeth are crooked. They shifted out of place during the time of negligence. It is enough for my face, the dermatologist, to go and deal with my acne. Truly, it is enough for me to basically even you get my point, whatever I need, go to a dentist, deal with my cavities, you get my point. It is enough for me to essentially be safe, have a YouTube channel that's only getting 1 view per video, and still be okay, because I've got, never mind money, but my own apartment, never mind money, but family that has repented. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's not all of them. You can't win them all. The sword has separated. There are some who are with us and others who aren't, right? That is a clarity. I actually want to finish this video walking up and down, because I recognize right now that in my car it's too dark, so I'm busy using the remaining daylight hours out here. All right, yeah, I have a job. I did the crying already. I'm not gonna cry here. I did the praising of God already. I'm not gonna do it here. The seeking his face for humility, to take it's a pay cut from I was very successful at some point. I was a program manager, so I'm not that right now. But what I have is not the start. I'm not starting from scratch. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It's not exactly scratch. It's not. It is not telling at Pick and Pay. It is not scanning groceries at the Pick and Pay. Woolies. It is remember the dream that I told you guys about, where some woman was saying that unless I have a baby out of wedlock, I'm not going to ever be able to buy anything from Woolworths again. This job is going to enable me to buy my favorite carrot cake and my chocolate cake, and alongside my seed bars from Woolies, it's going to enable me to shop. I remember thinking, my goodness, I'm going to be able to get an underwear haul, new bras, new panties. I'm going to be able to buy new skirts, new shoes again. I am going to be I'm back. I'm back. I'm trying to explain to you guys that I'm back. I'm back. I might not be where I was. I was very successful at some point. So I basically had way more than I needed before. Right now, I have just enough. Next year, maybe next year this time by my birthday, likely by the time August comes, I will probably be out of my mother's house. That is a definite guarantee. I'm not going to stay at my mom's house because I'm old. I'm 40. What am I doing at my mom's house? Do you understand what I'm saying? But I'm not broken up with my family. So the risk that they took to basically help me come free, even though there's a history of betrayal. They betrayed me, they hurt me, they abandoned me, they let me get a geriatric womb. Do you understand? They watched me not marry. My desires for a husband, all that, have been essentially forsaken. Say hi to my cat back there. All my desires have been just looked at like, whatever, who cares? Karabo. The sun is that way, so let me look in that direction. Whatever it is that you have needed that we have ignored, whatever. I mean, to take away 10 years of a person's life, that's a pretty big infraction, okay? It's a big thing. But you see, remember Joseph, when he got recovered, and when his brothers came to Egypt, and they were scared that he was going to incarcerate them or imprison them, whatever, because he was like the head honcho now. Remember what he said? He said, don't be scared. What you intended for evil, the Lord intended it for good. The saving of many lives. Now, speaking to the part of the saving of many lives, the only reason why I'm coming back to my YouTube channel, even though it's empty, even though it's dead, even though nobody's watching it, is because I am literally coming here to minister to those who have blocked my channel. I am ministering to those people who have frozen my YouTube and have said that you are not gonna get anywhere, you're not gonna get views. I am ministering to the people that are saying you are never gonna grow a TikTok, you are never gonna grow a Facebook. Essentially, whatever it is that you can potentially do to proliferate yourself, you are not going to do it. And until you settle for me, until you take whatever it is that I offer you in your stride, I am coming back to them because they're the only ones watching me. My enemies are the only ones watching me. And of course, subscribers that are too scared to look at what's going on with me are the only ones that have access to my ministry. The outside world is not having my content shared to them. It's not being proliferated. The outside world does not know what's going on. So literally the only people that have access to me are my subscribers, alongside who are this? The witches, the covens, cult members who are monitoring me, my monitors. The Lord has set apart hellfire for the devil and his angels. It is not for people. Do you understand? You are not supposed to go there. You've been convicted of sin. You've been guilty all this time. Here's the deal. Even if you keep my YouTube channel frozen, I will be okay. Even if you keep me in the darkness, in terms of social media presence, I will still be like one of those unfortunate souls that keep on loading on YouTube, going nowhere, but they can still buy bread. I am still going to get my apartment. I very potentially am still going to get even my husband. I am sorry. I'm still going to get my apartment. I'm going to get my husband. I'm going to get my potentially, the way things are happening so fast right now. Like proper, first, the first person to come around was my baby sister. I didn't expect that. My little sister just walked up and slapped me with an apology the other day, and a big fat emotional get-together happened, a hug, a reconciliation, and I was shocked because it happened when I literally did not expect it. And then a couple of days later, it was my older sister. And then a couple of days later, one of my other family members from outside out here rocked up. Everybody was doing stuff with them, saw my pain, saw my sorrow, realized that we can't leave Karabo like this, and she's the one that gave me a job. Things are happening like so. It's weird to me. And even though initially I might not have trusted the process, because I've seen before what came. I've seen before people look like they're coming around and they want to help me, and then they go all exploity and awry. But it's never been family. Like, this is why this time is different. It's never been family. Before, it was strangers. It was other people's people. It was men. It was women, strangers out there in the wilderness that initially helped me and then took away their hand of help because they were trying to exploit the circumstance. It's never been family. It's never been people who the only thing in it for them is the fact that I get to live. It is those who have a vested interest that I should survive. It is the mother of the baby that is prepared to let the baby go. You know, they're saying if you love someone, let them go, and if they come back, then it's meant to be. It is the mother in that story with the Solomon wisdom that it was prepared to let the baby go, that ultimately got given the baby by Solomon. So I've always wanted the recovery of my family. I've been praying for them, for their souls and all that jazz. And it's pained me for them to act this way towards me. But just like with Joseph, what they intended for evil, the Lord has used for good. The saving of many lives, and the lives as well that get saved are not only theirs, but yours. It is the people who are watching me that have done this to my life, that have blocked me, that did spells just recently to retire me. And yet here it is that I'm going to clock into a job on Monday. The people who have done spells to make me scan groceries at the Pick and Pay, and yet here it is that I'm going to be clocking into a corporate building, a 9 to 5. Here it is that I am going to be earning a salary that I can move out of home if I wanted to. I won't move out immediately because I have things to fix, debts to pay and whatnot, right? But if I wanted, I could have an apartment next month. That's basically what I'm trying to explain to you guys right now. I've got a job. I'm not at the level where I used to be, but I am trusting the Lord to give me everything that I have sought his face for. Seeing as he has already given me back some kind of a semblance of a career inside corporate South Africa, I'm trusting that he's going to give me my degree. I'm trusting that everything else will fire on our back. So I'm just watching to see how far down the mountain this boulder rolls, and therefore recover me to what it is that was stolen. I have always been an academic, so really if I awarded an opportunity to study, I would continue to do exactly that. Let's just watch what God is doing. But in humility, I'm going to work, hunker down, try to help myself grow again. I will never ever stop with YouTube. Right? And all that jazz. But what is imperative to understand is that the only reason why I'm uploading in a channel that's going nowhere is because it does not hurt anymore to upload. Guys, I am no longer talking into a vacuum that's empty, a vortex that is the end of me. We are no longer dying together. This is no longer a kamikaze mission on the part of the occult, where it is that being like suicide bombers, they are killing me and themselves. Now you're just killing yourselves, because just like any other random housewife with a lackluster YouTube channel that gets 5 views for every lackluster video she uploads, but nonetheless she's got her needs catered to, that's who I am now. I'm just some YouTuber that's going nowhere. I'm just some unsuccessful YouTuber who uploads a short and no one watches it, but I've got cake in my cake bin. I've got puff pastry. I have got cheesecake. I can get a cupcake from Mandiccio if I want to. Again, I have got all that I need And on top of that, I've also got family. I'm not alone. My family members might have been scared to lose me, but it is the very decision that they made, and that in spite of the potential to lose me, that has recovered me to them. Just like that story with Solomon. The very thing of letting me go is the very thing that's keeping me here. So even if I were to move out of my mother's house, my battery's running out, guys, so I have to be done here. Even if I were to move out of my mom's house, I will still come and visit every so often. If at all I get married, I'm not going to leave my family out. I'm not going to valela them ngaphandle. Even if you get my point. There is nothing that can ever separate me from my family anymore. That is a thing that's just going to continue to be a concern. Seeing as my sister is leaving, I need to move my car. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that I'm back. I am back. My battery is really super crazy low now, on 5%. I don't want to lose this video, so let me go charge the phone a little bit and then continue to finish talking. I keep trying to find all different kinds of angles to capitalize on this idea as much as possible. But let me just get this out the way. That's the thing, like my voice, it has to be low. Like yeah, even if I'm close to lighting, I still want to be distant enough to not be audible. I insist on recording Gamontle because editing issues inside. Anyway, like I was saying, this whole situation is a kamikaze mission. No longer, sorry, a kamikaze mission. Those that are my enemies, that have put themselves in a position to be the enemies of the cross, y'all stand to suffer uniquely, individually, by yourselves, with no one else coming for you. You're gonna dive into the flames of hell alone. You're not gonna go out with Samson. I'm not Samson. I have a lackluster YouTube channel, it appears. Nobody's watching me, but it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. I have made a decision that I'm not going to run from my channels because they are a testimony. The Bible says that make your lives a living epistle for God, holy and acceptable. That's what I've done. I've lived in front of you, holy and acceptable before a holy God, for the sake of your redemption. And now that I am walking in breakthrough, my question to you is, will you maintain your insanity in the occult? Will you stay a magic practitioner? Will you stay in dark arts? Will you, like, literally some of the witches that have cast spells on me, they cast spells to retire me, and I'm starting a job on Monday. They tried to retire me, and I'm starting a new job on Monday. And they tried to separate me further than already was the separation between me and my family, and I've been recovered to them. The same family of which walked like, if you love someone, let them go, and if they come back, what do you call this, then it's meant to be. They realized that it is better for me to live and be apart from them and walk away because I'm angry, I'm bitter, I don't want to see them again for what they did to me, rather than them have to go by my headstone, rather than have to go and do an unveiling at West Park Cemetery. They saw that it's better for them to never see me again, but know that I'm out there somewhere. Be nostalgic, be hurt, cry over watching my YouTube content, and however, never see me again. They realized that it's better for them to go through that than let me die. Only my family members could get to that conviction. Everybody else in the world treated me like the other woman. They were willing to cut me into multiple pieces so that I could be split between my family and them. But my family were the ones that made a decision that yours out there and not theirs. The risk was always there. There's a flight risk that I would leave. The risk was always there that I would pack my bags and never look back. That if at all I was to get a husband, that they would only ever see my life on Instagram, on social media, that they would only ever see my wedding on social media. I'd even made threats that I can another country, and none of them are going to come to my wedding. I spoke about how it is that I want nothing to do with them. We're done for. I said that, and they've known that the level of betrayal that they have endured me under would ultimately cause me to walk away forever from them. The ball is essentially in my court to keep coming back, to attend any of their events, to be there for them when they need me, and for them to be there for me when I need them. The ball is in my court. I get to decide if I am okay to recover a relationship, and of course I am. I've never ever not wanted to have family. It sucks. I had a colleague at MTN that didn't have a family, and I always used to look at her like, whoa, I mean, what is it like to have no one? And for me to have gone through 10 years looking like her has sucked. Do you understand? I know what my family used to look like. I'm not recovered to all of them, all right? Like, a lot still needs to happen. Perhaps the rest that are still holding out on me will probably come around, because others repented. That's potentially what's going on over here, right? Maybe they'll come around, because at the end of the day, the kingdom of heaven is always yawning wide for people to join, type establishment thing. But what I'm grateful for is recovery to a saint, at least like a Christian, to be able to be with a believer. I knew that it would have to be a Christian, that they would have to be in my family, and that they would have to be willing that once I'm cool, I'll never see them again. They had to be willing to take that risk, the risk that I would go out there and forever bear a grudge. The level of betrayal was at that height. They had to take that risk. And the fact that they were prepared to do so while nobody else was just proves that God is wise, that he's been doing this all this time. He knew how he intended to rescue me out of this. There was actually a spell even that was cast on me. Now that I look in that direction, there's a man that stays in a unit just down in that direction that pursued me some time ago. And I said no, okay? There was a dream that I got where it is that I was being mocked, that the only option for a husband or a boyfriend that I will ever have will be that guy, because huye, that's in my vicinity where I live. So tsamaya Karabo uloqoma a guy omohaneng then, because nobody else is gonna see you. Well, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna be seen in an office. I'm gonna be seen in traffic. I'm gonna be seen in the mall. I'm gonna be seen in church, because I intend to recover myself to fellowship with saints. I'm going to be seen. And so therefore, what would be the tantamount of my dating pool that's now so like completely shallow will then be made deep again. Was God's plan for a season. But those who thought that they could bewitch me to have no other option but the gentleman that lives in this unit down the road, Lana, for you to imagine that for anyone to imagine that I've ever been at the mercy of that was naive. All the spells that they cast, especially the most recent ones where they essentially were sealing the deal, putting a nail in the coffin, they fell apart. Fine. I'm a failure at YouTube. You saw it fit to do that. I can't call myself a serious content creator because I only get one view a video, if at all. But I have a job. I have family. Amends are being made. Recovery is being made. A family doctor saw me and decided to give me antibiotics free of charge. Remember Dr. Jusab that I spoke about earlier? He was a family physician. From long ago, he knew us. From the days of apartheid, from the latter part of apartheid, he was treating my grandmother. He never could have left me to just die from pneumonia, even though I had no medical aid. So he was like family in and of himself. The reason why the Lord God Almighty kept on giving me dreams about Dr. Jusab and me getting set free through Jusab was him showing me literally a type of Christ, a type of Christian redemption, that he would restore me to family, that it would be family that helped me, that it would be abantu bagiti, that it would be my mom that would be like, my daughter's sick, go see Dr. Jusab. And then Jusab would give me the medication I need, and within 24 hours, I would be right as rain. I would start to feel all better. It happened like clockwork. Even though at the time of getting the vision, the dream, thanks to delayed gratification, I didn't believe it. But give me where it's happened. The reason I'm back, the reason I'm still uploading in this channel is shrilling, is because I'm speaking to people by shrilling. I'm talking to those who thought that they could block me. The woman that did the spell saying that I will only ever purchase anything from Woolies if I have a baby out of wedlock. Girl, in 2 weeks I'm gonna walk into Woolies and buy a chocolate cake. Without a baby out of wedlock, still holding fast to Jesus. You can't curse those whom God has blessed. Are you going to stay in that dark kingdom? Are you going to keep doing those spells? Are you going to keep pulling rugs from under people's feet like that? You can't curse me anymore. It hurts. Indeed, I will say that much. To upload on a channel that's going nowhere. It really does suck. But no more than it sucks for any other random employee in corporate South Africa that's trying their hand at social media and gets no views, one little like maybe, and thereafter tumbleweed for you to upload something and after 5 hours you still have 0 views. I won't be the only person like that, but I will be among the few that are like that, hoping to however monetize so they can get out of a rut. I'm no longer that girl. I will keep uploading on that same content, on that same channel, that you've shadow banned, but this time around, it doesn't matter that no one is watching me. It doesn't matter. I'm okay now. And I'm not gonna hide my face. I'm not going faceless because I've never wanted to. And I'm also not leaving my blog, my beautiful blog, the beautiful website that I built for myself where I've written beautiful articles just so you don't know that it's me that's writing. I'm not going to be a ghost writer. I'm Karabo since I get Hlongwane. I'm an author. I write in my own blog with my own face and my own facial thumbnails. You're going to see that it's me because the righteous are bold as a lion. I am not hiding anymore, but you are. Wicked men and women, you're hiding. That's the problem. You're hiding. And you're hiding, never mind from Satan or from your own deeds, but from a holy God that's going to judge you voluminously for what you have done. How long are you going to keep on hiding? Ginom sevenzi, guys. You can keep my channel blocked, but the only reason I'm even doing this video is for your sake. The only reason I'm testifying to let you guys know that Dr. Jusab came through, I'm back, I'm restored. I've got a 9 to 5. The reason I'm telling you is for your sake. I could have left, I could have done a faceless channel, but for the sake of my own peace, I don't want to hide. And secondly, for your sake, I don't want you to go to hell. Kilizame, for years you did not believe. Wicked and perverse generation, you sought after a sign. God did not give you a sign. He gave you this. My family's coming around. I'm still on the journey to healing. Recovery, of course. I need to heal. I'm in pain. What was done to me is not going to flee over my head overnight. Like Joseph, God might give me a son, Manasseh, that will make me forget the pain of my father's household. But bottom line is, I'm obviously at the beginning stages of that healing. I'm cool now. So what are you going to do? Are you going to stay dark? Are you going to try and come at my new employment? Are you going to try and, like, guys, what are you going to do? Nyabuya, my phone is at 5%. I was told that I'm going to have to start from, like, our witchcraft was cast on me, saying that the only way, Karabo, that you're ever going to be okay again is if you allow yourself to start from scratch. Hamba uyo kale call center again. Go and start stipending and 3,000 like you did before again. Start from the very, 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 very crazy bottom again. This is not a scratch start. It's not a scratch start. It's not where I was, where I left off, but it's also not from scratch. And there were people who went so far as to say, a maid in a house. I've had a dream where I was a maid in a house, cleaning houses. I've had a dream where I was waiting tables at Wimpy. I've had a dream where I was scanning groceries at the Pick and Pay. One dream, one of my cousins actually gave me, those cash, the point of sales counters for tellers at FMCGs. She threw it at me in a dream. At the drawer, yachelete, on some, that's where you're gonna work. Go Pick and Pay. Spells like those. I'm not at Pick and Pay, and I'm also not at the very beginning of my career. That's what you must understand. I might not be exactly where I was. I'm not exactly a program manager or even a project manager, but I am beyond, what do you call this? Starting from scratch. Essentially, some kind of acknowledgement was made for the fact that I have experience, that I am not a person that is fresh out of matric. Some kind of acknowledgement was made. And you know what's ironic as well is that the industries, one of the industries in which there was no way under heaven that I would ever, in this condition and in this position, ever get a job in them. I'm in that industry. Thanks to my financial status, because of having not been able to pay my debts, I am officially on the credit bureau, right? There was no way under heaven that I could ever work for a financial services company in that state. And where it is that I'm going to be working is in finance. So my thing with that is, do you not see how strings were pulled and how it is that God is the one that decides what's going to happen? How a woman with a listing on the credit bureau is going to be working for a finance organization? How it is that a woman with a 10-year gap in her CV is not going to be made to start from scratch? And how it is that a woman that was supposed to be telling at the Pick and Pay, scanning groceries, folding clothes at the Woolies, or waiting tables at the Wimpy is going to be sitting behind a laptop, able to afford a whole apartment if she wants to. Do you understand? On a salary that no one, when they are fresh out of matric, gets. That's what I'm getting at. What I'm trying to explain is that this is a springboard. I will ultimately grow from this place. What you can do as those who are into random sabotage is continue to insist on cursing those whom God has blessed, or at least attempting to, right? Attempting to steal Naboth's vineyard as Jezebel. You can do that. You can essentially try and come up against my employment. But at this point, I've already displayed, I've already shown, I've already evidenced that you cannot curse those whom God has blessed. And if a Christian is suffering, it's only because those trials and tribulations have been set apart for them to endure from eternity past by God. Just like Job, just like Joseph, just like Moses, just like David, all the servants of God, Jeremiah, they endured some kind of persecution, they endured some kind of trial. That was not evidence of a curse. It was rather evidence that they were chosen and God was building character through trials, through them. So I was not cursed because I lost a job. I was going through Matthew 5. Blessed are the persecuted. Blessed are you when men revile you. Blessed are you when you, blessed, you get my point. If anybody wants to live a life in me, they will suffer persecution. Many people lost a lot. David lost an entire kingdom. He lost Israel to Absalom. That's what happens when people belong to God. They go through trials, but just because they're going through them doesn't mean they're cursed. So this doctrine of demons and destructive heresy, doing its rounds, saying that Christians, you need to remove bondages on your back. Somebody has come against you with an altar or whatnot. Bring it down, bring it low. Otherwise, you're not going to get a husband. Guys, patience, long suffering. It's exactly what I've been saying. Wait and see what God does. Hannah prayed. She did not do a ritual, and neither did she imagine that there was a hex on her body, and that's why she can't come out. Then she got her baby. Rachel waited. Children of God, wait. And then on the other side, you will reap the peaceful fruit of righteousness if you don't give up. I am living testimony now. I am already at the beginning stages. God recovered to me already a portion of what the locust, the palmer worm, the cankerworm has stolen. It can only go up from here. So you can keep on trying to come at me. But you see, once God has decided that my disciples' suffering ends now, it ends. So this time around, you can't pull the rug from underneath my feet again. You can't cause me to lose my job again. This time around, I already did the time. That's what I'm getting at. I've done the time. You did the crime. I did the time. And there's no going back to prison. I'm out. I'm out now. Like, the bars have been swung open. I am officially out of jail. And I'm not going back. So there's no colleague that can ever sabotage me successfully again. That was a test. I went through it. I passed. Are you then going to be that colleague that keeps on cursing your colleagues? Are you going to try again? Guys, are you going to come at my face? So many people came at my face, like the casting of spells of my beauty, like to make me age overnight. It didn't work. Are you going to keep trying that? What are you going to do? Already there were so many evidences, but what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that the final evidence is now in your face, and some of y'all are going to mourn. You're going to grieve. You're going to cry over this, but my prayer is that when you do cry, you will cry tears of contriteness instead of what do you call this thing? Crocodile tears because you got caught. Do not cry because you got busted. Cry because Christ has shown you that magic does not work and that you're on your way to hell. That Christians cannot be cursed. That you cannot just take a Christian wife when you are ungodly if this woman is consecrated. That you will always have butterfingers when it comes to grasping Christians. You will always lose them. They will never ever be yours if God has not put them in your hand. If they're bespoke to other people, you can't take them. What God has put together, let no man separate. So my prayer is that your tears will lead you to Christ. You will realize that witchcraft doesn't work. Be recovered to the King. Recognize the folly of your ways. Like Jacob, walk with a limp, but see that God has at least blessed you. That's all that I am here trying to do. My desire is that you should repent and give your life to Christ, and not that you should be bitter because I came out. It's the only reason I'm uploading in this channel. I wanted to go faceless, and I also wanted to start something new because I am tired of being pursued in this environment, but this is the environment where I suffered, and so therefore it is the only fit for purpose environment to show that God delivered me. It's the only place to come and comfort my subscribers who have been looking out for me, who have desired my redemption from sorrow, for me to show them. The people who have favored my righteous cause, I owe it to them to show them that I got freed. I owe it to them. I owe it to every subscriber that's unsubscribed because they were scared to watch me die. I owe it to them to show up and say, look, I got a job. I owe it to them. And I also owe it to YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and basically all these social media platforms that banned me. I owe it to them to show them that you banned me. You made it impossible for me to make money on your platform, but there are so many other places where God can help a saint along, and I belong to them now. You can either open the floodgates for me again and let me thrive on your platforms, or essentially leave me be one of those unsuccessful YouTubers. I will never be able to proliferate my message online, but at least I got food on the table. I got a beautiful child. I've got a doting husband. I've got everything I need, just not a YouTube channel that's thriving. Like proper, I will live. I will survive. If I have got an ability to take care of myself, I will survive, even if I never prosper to reach hundreds of thousands of people in a video on YouTube. So those at YouTube who are sitting actually actively pulling a lever and unsubscribing my subscribers and unfollowing my followers, all those people, will you continue in this insanity? At the end of the day, you're all human beings. You are mere mortals made in the image of God, and you ought give your lives to Christ. Will you risk your souls for this? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? What is it going to give you to maintain all this insanity? What is the point? What is the point? You literally were on a mission, a homicidal one at that, to end a woman's life. It failed. Be ashamed enough to turn over to Jesus. Yeah, like y'all can either make a decision to repent or perish. I rocked up here to share this testimony literally for nothing else but your sake. I don't even know if anybody's gonna watch this, but like I said, effectively it doesn't matter anymore if anybody watches me, but whoever will, this one's for you. Like the 1 or 2 people, it's written in God's word that heaven rejoices when even one sinner repents. So if there's only like 1 little person or 2 people, 3, that will watch this video across my multiple channels, and they will get healed, they will get down on their knees, repent, see that God set me free from their spells, the many of them that they did, there'll be 3 times over a celebration in heaven, a big fat chunky party in heaven because of one sinner that repents, right? However many are going to view me, YouTube has set me up for failure to make sure that I don't go anywhere, that no one watches me. I'm only uploading on YouTube because I don't have the emotional energy to upload anywhere else. But that's all that's needed, because that's my biggest base anyway. Well, followed by Facebook, but I'm not going to upload this on Facebook. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that you have a vested interest in responding in repentance. There's nowhere else that I'm going from here. once I came back from Juice-Up's offices, I healed. I didn't even have to call him. Even though he gave me his number to call him overnight if I had any issues, I healed. I recovered. Do you understand? I lived to tell the story. I lived to repent. I lived to give my life to Jesus Christ. The Lord survived me then, and he will continue to survive me. And that was a foreshadowing of a time like this, where it is that I would be neglected by just about everything, and eventually something will pull through at a time when I literally concluded that this must inevitably result in nothing but my death. I'm obviously gonna die. And here it is that not only am I alive, but I'm alive in a way that my enemies are presently not. My enemies are inevitably gonna die if they don't do better. I've been saying, guys, that you can't carry on like this. You can't carry on like this. And this person that helped me in the family is now the best of friends that I could ever have. We are such kindred spirits. We get along on so many different levels. She's so the tongue, the speech. The speech of heaven is on her lips, and it's so comforting to speak with somebody like that. And from what it is that I understand, where it is that I'm going to be working, there's a lot of like believers just like me. So essentially, an environment that is covered with a hedge of protection, like making it near on impossible for anybody at all there to successfully harass saints in that space. It had to happen this way. It had to be family. It had to be, because men would have only ever exploited me. Women would have only ever helped them. Women would have only ever exploited me in and of themselves. People would have only ever tried to plunder me. It had to be family. It had to be people that were prepared to let me live, even if I don't want to live with them. Like the guy from America, for instance, was like, if I can't have you, I don't want anybody else, and no other man is gonna want you, and seeing as you don't want me, you gotta die. Like, it's only strangers that can do stuff like that. Strangers that don't know you, that come from outside, that have not grown up with you, that have not, what do you call this? They've not raised you. Strangers that have not seen you go from grade naught to matric and broken bread. Strangers that have not watched you get pimples and then get cleared of skin. Strangers that have not watched you get your first A in school. Strangers that have seen nothing, that have not changed your diaper. They are highly unlikely going to have your back when nobody else is trying to have your back, unless there was something in it for them. And I had nothing to offer. Unlike Joseph in Egypt, he had the interpretation of Pharaoh's dream to offer. He had that big thing to offer. So a stranger was willing to set him free. I did not have anything so haughty that Pharaoh would basically set me out of prison. I needed my own family to realize that noma angas Shia, even if she leaves us because we betrayed her, Rekampane, Arisia Alekwa Apfofa as a bird, Apela at least. She must be at least alive, because right now this woman is dying, and we can't let that happen on our watch. And as a result of this decision that they've made to go out on a limb and trust what they don't know, hope that I don't basically run after they let me go, is the very thing that's going to make me stay. I'm not going to insist on leaving. The Bible is big on forgiveness. The Bible is big on recovery, restoration. The Bible is big on saying, he who has no sin, let him cast the first stone. And so I'm in no position to cast a stone. Plus, on top of that, I don't want to be without family. So I'm finally where it is that I need to be, and I need to recover. It's going to take time. I need to heal. It's going to take time. But at least it's going to happen. At least it's going to happen. I will continue to rock up here and share the words of God, share what he shows me. I will continue to work for Christ, but my tone will definitely change. I was angry because I'm hungry for love and affection and recognition. You get my point. I was blowing steam out of my head because I was beleaguered and I was persecuted. So therefore my tone was harsh and I was full of revenge, indignation. I'm not there anymore. Like proper, I've been appeased like a baby. I have had a pacifier put in my mouth. I've been pacified. This here is my pacifier. As a result, and as a result of there being a pacifier in my mouth now, I'm no longer going to come here blowing steam as much. So my tone is definitely going to change. I'm not going to be as mad anymore, even though I get horrible dreams about witches and whatnot. Bottom line is, insofar as I have God protection, insofar as I have God love, and insofar as I've got sustenance, provision, independence, and insofar as I am no longer at the mercy of licentious men and the women who help them. I can come here with gentleness. If anything, this morning, the Lord, when I woke up, he was like, now go and do the works that you did at first. That is what he says to the letter, to the church at Ephesus, in that letter in the book of Revelation. Ephesus has this one problem. Love, right? I have this against you. You have forgotten your first love. Because they essentially are walking in what would be the tantamount of faltering from 1 Corinthians 13. They're a loud gong and a clanging cymbal, that even though they've got words of wisdom, even though they've got words of knowledge, even though they've got tongues for days, they have not love, and so they have nothing. They stop loving because they get persecuted. They get squeezed into such a tight corner that they are harsh in the way that they speak with their enemies. But the law says that whenever you are giving an account for the faith that you have in Christ, you must do so with gentleness. I have lacked gentleness, I will admit it, and I have been unloving sometimes because of how beleaguered and persecuted and how much attrition has been on my back for all of these years. Well, I'm gonna go and do the works I did at first. So indeed, I can be like the church at Philadelphia, where it is that I'm not going to let anybody steal my crown. When the rapture does happen, I'm going to go in there because I'm going to be restored to biblical Christianity. And even in the way that I rebuke my enemies, I am going to do so in a way that has love, without the anger, because the anger was as a result of hunger. I was angry because I was hungry. But with me being fed, I'm going to be able to basically share prophecy in a way that is gentle, in a way that is rebuking, calling people out from the darkness where they are at, without screaming and yelling at them because I feel as if though they're the reason why I'm incarcerated. Now that I'm set free, the tone will definitely change. That's something you can expect. And also, now that I'm set free, I will not be upset at the lack of subscribers, the loss of subscribers, the lack of views. It's no longer going to be a thing because I'm no longer trying to monetize a YouTube channel. I'm just trying to get the message out there, and whoever will heed it will heed it. That's what I wanted to let you guys know. So this is a massive breakthrough. Like proper, I've been delivered, okay? It's only the beginning, and I will continue to share my testimony, and I hope that you have been super crazy edified by this, and recognize that God will always set apart a Jew sub for you. The Lord will always bring forward some kind of a Dr. Jew sub for you, a person that is going to appropriately respond to your wounds, appropriately respond to you even when you have nothing, a person that the Lord has set apart to, though you may be in doubt, will nonetheless set you free. Watch this space. I am signing out in Christ's name, Crank. I hope you've been edified. Amen. Bye-bye.